Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake up, wake up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Oh. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, June 23rd, 2023. I'm Bob.
I'm Harrison.
And this is Wake Up in Provincetown.
Yeah.
We've got a wonderful show for you today.
We really do.
Who's here, Harry? Tell everybody.
Here, we have Sam Hamashima coming in to talk about their one-person show at the Provincetown Theatre. We also have the legendary queen herself, Varla Jean Merman, coming in.
Have you seen Varla yet?
Not yet, I'm seeing her tonight.
You're going tonight? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Did you miss Townie night? It was Wednesday.
I was in Boston seeing Evita
Oh, work.
at the ART.
We also have João Santos coming in because his show is opening this Sunday, Unholy at the Crown and Anchor. We also have, I sat down with Valerie and Laura, artists at the Commons, to chat about their work. I also sat down with Chuck and George from the Portugese bakery. They're the new owners of the Portugese bakery to talk about everything they got going on over there.
Are you sure it's George and not Gorge?
But we got a good show for you. So you saw Evita, how was that?
Oh my God, everybody. It's a fantastic production. If you're in Boston, go see Evita at the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge. I went with my friend Michael Ponte, whom I met in a college production of Evita in the year 2000.
Who did he play?
He played Che,
Who did you play?
lover number 2,
Ensemble.
and the Admiral.
Oh.
And it was a really, really fun night. It was great. I thought it was great. Of course, Mike is sitting there going, they're going to replace her before this goes to Broadway. And no, I just found out that they are.
Oh, wow.
I know, I guess Rachel Ziegler, who played Maria in the movie of West Side Story last year, is going to be Evita when it gets to Broadway.
Interesting.
Why?
She seemed, I mean, it's hard to say that she seems young to play that role because that role is typically played by one actress and it spans like 14 to 50, right?
She died at 33, so 14 to 33, but 20 years.
Yeah. I did just read, I think in the West End, they cast it with 3 different actresses playing the part.
They should do that.
Yeah. It's
That would be
an
cool.
extremely vocally demanding role.
Very demanding.
Yeah. And I think they want you to be uncomfortable when Che and 15-year-old start canoodling.
You mean not Che, Perron.
Right. Yeah.
You're supposed to be what?
When the romance starts, she's very, very, very young.
Right.
But it's normally played by an actress in her mid-20s, so it doesn't read like that.
Right.
So.
No, I would love it if they did that, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that on Broadway. Maybe, but probably not. But it was great. Go see it.
I know we normally only promote events here in Provincetown, but if you caught João's show last year and noticed the handsome man on the keyboards, he is doing a project. He's part of something called the Bach Project, which is basically uplifting and bringing awareness and accessibility to classical music in Boston. And Andrew Shranian and Susanna Ogata are playing violin and organ as a benefit for the Bach Project this Sunday at All Saints Church in Ashma at 4 o'clock. Definitely check that out. I caught their last one, and it was amazing, and this one is going to be incredible as well, so check that out.
But you're probably here in town for the Portuguese Festival and the Blessing of the Fleet.
Which is also
It is
Sunday.
the 76th annual? Something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the weather's going to be the weather.
Fine.
I mean, Anne will tell us later on what the weather's going to be like.
Exactly.
How was your week?
I had a fun week. Unfortunately, this past Monday was the last trivia I'm going to be hosting at the brewery until after the run of the Fantastics. I'm booked up. We're getting close. We open in like 2.5 weeks.
Are you ready?
No, I'll be ready in 2.5 weeks though.
I heard you had your first onstage kiss in rehearsal.
Yeah, we finally did the big kiss scene.
Open mouth?
No. I mean, my mouth was open, but we were wearing masks.
Weird.
Yeah,
I'm
if
picturing that.
if you are in Provincetown or kind of anywhere, there has been word of an uptick in COVID cases, so definitely wear masks if you feel that's appropriate for your own safety, and be diligent, pay attention to your health, test often and frequent, and be careful.
Yes, it is going around. You are much more likely in Provincetown to catch COVID than to die in an exploding submarine.
We'll chat about that later, because
Who's laughing?
I have things to say.
This is a tragedy.
No, I pulled the room. I was like, what's the vibe in the room? Because I don't want to get heckled. Are we laughing at the billionaires, or do we feel bad for them?
Listen.
No, we'll talk about it later. Other things I did this week. So this past Monday was my last trivia. I hosted with Evan, who has been hosting with me the past couple weeks. He's doing a fantastic job. He is taking over as the main trivia host for me through the summer, and then we're going to have a rotating cast of guest hosts. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's still Mondays at 7 o'clock. Unsure if it will still be called Go Fish Trivia or I will be removed from existence.
They have to rename it. They renamed it when I got replaced.
Not for like 6 months till after you were unavailable.
Anyhow.
Yeah. I also went to the second Fag Bash. It was tons of fun this past Wednesday at Purgatory.
What was the theme?
I don't. Soleil.
Equinox?
Solstice, moon, fry, Shequinox something.
Somebody had just eaten a pot brownie when they came up with that.
Yeah, I want to be in like the writer's room when they're just brainstorming ideas for that. One that I really want is Best Little Shop of Horrors in Texas. It's like plants and slutty cowboys.
Oh, did they do that?
No.
Did you just make that up?
I didn't just make it up, but I did make it up.
You've been thinking about this.
Years.
Mark, Aaron, Jimmy Lee, if you're watching, please do this.
Yeah.
Pay him for the IP.
Yeah, thank you. I also, after I got out of rehearsal last night, I went over to the Gifford House to catch the last 45 minutes of Brittany Rolfe's set at the piano bar.
Oh, how was Brittany and Clint?
It was amazing. They were so incredible. Brittany sang all the hits. She sang Being Alive. She ended with Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which, as typical as that is, it was amazing. Which is also typical of Brittany to be amazing.
Did she do Maybe This Time?
I didn't hear that, but like I said, I only caught the last 45 minutes, so I'm unsure. But then I went down to the leather and gear party, which was fun.
Did you wear leather and gear?
No.
You didn't wear either?
No, I didn't. I thought it was an underwear party, so I went with that theme instead.
You were just standing around in underwear
Yeah.
while everyone else was in leather and gear?
I mean, there were a lot of other people in their underwear, but it was fun.
She likes to stick out.
Yeah, Sonny was working coat check, so I kind of popped back and forth between visiting him at coat check and the dance floor.
Fun.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see it, but this past week was the debut of the Pink Show with Cherie and Mike Flanagan. I did see a video. They got an aerialist for it.
An aerialist?
Yeah.
Oh, an aerialist.
Like a...
Yes, a person who does aerial acrobatics.
What did you think I was saying?
Area list. I was like, what? What's
An
area
aerialist.
list?
Yeah.
So what the fuck is that?
But I heard it was entirely incredible, which I don't doubt. Mike and Cherie never disappoint.
If you missed Cherie's show with Mike last year, she was doing the musical catalog of Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah.
And so this year it's Pink. Cherie is one of the most phenomenal singers around. The show's only on Tuesdays, I think.
Yes.
So
I think
I'm never going to get to see it. What?
she won Showgirls singing. And
Cherie won Showgirls?
Mm-hmm. She sang And I'm Telling You.
Oh.
What?
Well, until I realized that it was Cherie right now in this moment, I was talking shit on the person that won Showgirls. I wasn't there.
You weren't there, and you were talking shit about the winner who you didn't even know who it was.
Because my friend finished third, and it was like, oh, some girl with an amazing voice won. I was like, what? Just some girl singing? Beat you?
Cherie is not just some
She's
girl.
not just some girl,
honestly.
but I was taking the side of my friend who lost without having been there or knowing anything about what happened.
Yeah,
I'm a
honestly.
good friend. I take the side of my friend.
Just blind support.
But Cherie is my friend too, and now I'm happy for Cherie.
Good.
She's not just some girl.
Did you get up to anything else? Did you see any movies last week for the film festival?
Oh yes, I saw the Taylor Mack movie. I don't know what the movie's actually called. I think it's called Taylor Mack 24 Decades of Pop. You know, go see it. I think it comes out on HBO on June 26th. But it was a really amazing experience to have in the theater. Taylor was there to do a Q&A. If you don't know who Taylor Mack is, he's this incredible singer, performance artist who did a 24-hour stage performance in 2016, and each hour was a decade of American pop music history. 10 songs per hour. He only left the stage 4 times in 24 hours, And they have whittled that down into a 2-hour movie, which is what I went to see. And it's mind-blowing.
Did he have like a stash of Kind bars to keep going or something?
I don't know. I don't think he ate anything.
No.
Really?
Injections?
A hot beef injection?
How do I get some of that for my shifts at the Red Inn?
All I know is, he said he didn't speak for 2 weeks after the show. He's like belting for 24 hours, and I was like, how did you even work up to that?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
wild.
It's one of the most incredible things. I wish I had been there for the actual stage show, because it's never going to happen again.
Right.
But it was amazing. Watch it. Taylor Mack. Just Google Taylor Mack and watch the movie.
Yeah, I made it to the closing party, which usually is at the boat slip, but they brought it out onto the street. It was kind of split between local and Boobalas, and it was tons of fun.
It was a Raffinelli event. He did this 10 years ago with like the pink carpet in the street.
It was cute.
It was super cute.
A lot of people came like flying down Commercial on their bikes to be like, "Arr!" as they realized it was closed off and the road was carpeted, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, really
which was fun to watch. Yeah.
Super fun. And
But I ran into Fenton Bailey and I got to chat with him in person, which was incredible and an
Get
honor.
outta here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He was so sweet.
What did you see?
I didn't see anything.
You saw no movies?
No. I worked the whole weekend.
You had a press pass.
And I worked the whole weekend. Yeah. Let's talk about events going on in town.
Okay.
Let's see. So, this upcoming Sunday at the Paramount, they're doing a all-share show with all the crown performers. And it's going to be a benefit for Thirsty Burlington, who's having some health issues, is delaying her show a bit, but she promises to get her show up sometime this summer, and we'll all be there for that.
Thirsty's letting other people sing Share.
I know, right?
Oh, fun.
The byline is all your favorites and some others too.
Interesting.
All your favorites and the ones you hate, too.
I'm sure I fall under one of those categories.
Are you singing?
No. Also this weekend, there is going to be a bar crawl and barbecue as a fundraiser for Hunter and Kelly. Their house burned down a few weeks ago. It's going to hit up the Provincetown Brewing Company, Shipwreck, Spindler's, Post Office Cafe, Liz's Cafe, the Gifford House, and Connie's Bakery.
Fun.
Yeah. Last night was the premiere of Anne's show, Anne Hutchinson, our trusty weather girl. It went super well, and it's going to be every Thursday at 9 o'clock through the summer.
Conventicles.
Yeah. Tonight at 8 o'clock in the Wave Bar is Kaya Cristal's show. It opened last week, but it's up again tonight. 8 o'clock tonight, it's called Kaya Cristal's Intergalactic Disco. It's like a pop music show, laid back, fun, obviously stunning, amazing vocals from Miss Kaya herself. And also Varla Jean Merman, Tuesday through Saturday at 9 p.m. I'll be there tonight at 9. Huh? Right. And João show, but we'll talk about that later. I guess we'll talk about Varla's show also later, but yeah. Do you want to talk about the Titanic?
Yes.
Go for it.
Titanic 2, people 0.
Yeah.
The Titanic
honestly.
continues to kill people.
Billionaires.
Billionaires.
So if you have been living under a rock this past week, or under. So there is this.
You guys, this isn't funny.
There's this company that has created this. It is called the Titan Submersible. It is basically a small, what you would think of as a submarine that can carry about 5 or 6 people.
The size of a minivan, they say.
The size of a minivan.
Without the cushy seats.
And it takes you down to view the Titanic, yet there are no windows in said submersible.
There's a window the size of a washing machine window.
Okay.
But so you have to take turns looking out the window and going, oh my God, that's the Titanic. This was worth $250,000.
Yeah, five people aboard all paid $250,000, and they signed a waiver saying that there is a possibility that you will die.
The word death is mentioned 3 times on the first page of the contract.
Right.
That's, I mean, you're going to die on
Yeah.
this.
So the submersible went missing, and
An hour and a half into its 11-hour descent, it went missing. It went off the grid. They were stopping, able to communicate with it.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God, what happened? We have to get down there and save these billionaires.
yeah. So they launched a rescue mission. I think there was 95 hours of emergency oxygen and supplies on board. So it was a race against time. and they were looking. They at one point thought that they had heard banging, which is typical of like underwater wrecks. People will bang so that they know where they are, they know they're still alive. And it turns out that that was probably not true because they did find a debris field yesterday, which was indicative of a sudden implosion.
A debris field is indicative of a sudden implosion. What, Nicole? This isn't funny. We're discussing a serious, sad tragedy.
Yeah, I did read the science of what would happen to this submersible if it were to implode. It would all take a matter of milliseconds.
Oh, you wouldn't even know that it was happening.
Right, but in those milliseconds, the first thing that would happen is the air would heat up inside to temperatures that rival the surface of the sun, and then obviously it would implode. Never mind.
What?
It was gonna implode. I was gonna say smush, but I felt that was inappropriate.
Oh, that's gross.
But then I said it anyway.
You guys, we're not talking about the absolute most tragic part of this whole story, is the people inside were not allowed to wear shoes.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. When I heard that there was an implosion, I was like, that's kind of, if there was no chance of rescue, if they weren't going to be rescued, that's kind of best case scenario just for it to be over, because the idea of sitting in that minivan-sized tin can with 5 other people for 90 hours just waiting for it to be over, like, ticks every horror box in my head.
Yeah.
And the kicker was they weren't allowed to wear shoes inside, so not only were you in there with 5 people, you were in there with 10 bare feet. Whew.
I mean, heat me up to this temperature of the surface of the sun before I have to endure that.
Honestly, that's the only way. I do want to say this is very sad. Those people had families. A lot of people aren't taking that perspective.
Really, how are people taking it?
I just think they're being like the ego of these people to spend this incredible and astronomical amount of money, which is pennies to them because they are billionaires,
right.
And then to go down there and then obviously they weren't expecting rescue because they couldn't.
The CEO of the company was one of the 5 people on board.
Right, but millions and millions and millions of dollars were spent in this rescue mission to rescue these billionaires who those millions of dollars would mean absolutely nothing to. Meanwhile, the bill is going to be footed by the governments who had to send out their Coast Guard. Like, the Coast Guard is going to have to pay for all of that.
What?
Yeah, and meanwhile, all over the world, like, migrants are on boats and going through troubles. Those are crashing, capsizing, and they are offered no rescue, no relief. And the biggest difference I see in that is the value that is put on them society based on their bank accounts.
Absolutely.
Which is a tragedy. Which is why I don't feel bad that we are finding humor in the situation.
I'm not making fun of this.
They're all there watching, Bob.
I would like to offer my sincerest, deepest condolences to the families of these billionaires. It sucks to lose your family in like a submarine implosion.
A stepson of one of the billionaires posted a picture of himself at a Blink-182 concert, and he said, "My family would want me to be at this Blink-182 concert right now."
There was a dad and a son on the submarine. That person's family.
Oh, one of them, their stepson.
So that family lost 2 people.
And then as he started to get attention for being at a Blink-182 concert while his stepfather was in this tin can under the ocean, he also, while he was getting all that attention, posted that he was single.
And an orphan.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't have to take it seriously, I guess you don't either.
Yeah. I also saw a tweet, and I don't know that this is true, but I did read that My Heart Will Go On will re-enter the top 100 at number 12 next week. I'm not, it was just a tweet, so I don't know if it's real, but wow.
I feel worse for Celine Dion than I do for these 5 people.
She's gonna make money.
She can't sing anymore.
I know, it's horrible and tragic.
So let's take a moment to acknowledge the tragedy that is Celine Dion not being able to perform anymore. Sadder than the submarine imploding.
Honestly.
That was my moment of silence.
Let's do some local news.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening in town?
So I don't know, if you were driving down Route 6 over the past week, you might have noticed that at the entrance to the Dune Shack Road, which is where you will take dune tours, where you enter the dunes for dune tours, you might have seen a group of protesters. They are protesting the RFP that the National Seashore has released for the rental of 8 out of the 18 dune shacks. Over the past week, they began giving tours to the people that have applied for leases for these dune shacks. At least 45 people were given tours.
45 people submitted a proposal?
45 people got tours, so I imagine more people than that submitted proposals.
Wow.
A cluster of protesters gathered with signs. Some of the signs read, "Don't gentrify dune shacks," "No high bid leases," and "Robbing family property."
Whoa.
The select board this past week got a letter from the superintendent of the National Seashore, Brian Karlstrom. He said that they will not be withdrawing or redefining the current RFP. He called the park strategy of encouraging higher bids, because the select boards did ask that they were like, just set a price, remove the idea that someone could bid higher and have a better chance of getting the lease. They asked for that to be removed, and they said that the park strategy of encouraging higher bids was a sound business practice. And is the National Seashore and the National Park System a business?
I guess so.
Okay. In a letter, Truro Select Board called it classist and reeking of a money grab.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
accurate.
Yes. In that same letter, they did also say that 2 of the dune shacks, in addition to the 8, would be put up for leases shortly. They just currently have tenants, so they weren't able to put them up. They also said that they wouldn't be willing to redefine to extend the season, because basically right now it's saying that they were only going to be you were only allowed to occupy it through a certain time.
Memorial Day to Labor Day, I think.
Which most dune shacks and the ones in the Beacon Hill Trust are all used beyond that.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of service industry people will apply to get them in September, October, November, when they have more time. So it's just a slippery slope, because that might end up being applied to the rest of the dune shacks, which would leave out a lot of people who would love to experience the dune shacks.
I've only ever been in one in the off season, like September, October, November. That's the best time. It's so beautiful out there. You want the fire roaring at night because it's chilly outside. Over my dead body, will they shorten the season on all of these dune shacks? What?
Nothing. Also at the Select Board meeting this past Monday on the 12th, the Select Board expressed an interest in regulating electric scooters.
Oh, good.
That's how I feel as well.
They're a menace. What?
Yeah, over the past 4 or 5 years, there's been kind of an expansion in the type of vehicles you will see on Bradford Street, Commercial Street. It used to be pedicabs, bikes, pedestrians, and cars. And now there's electric scooters, golf carts, electric bikes, and it has complicated things. The rules as of now is obviously pedestrians. It seems like a free-for-all. I don't know if that's the rule, but bikes on Commercial Street can go both ways. Pedicabs have to adhere to traffic laws that apply to cars. Obviously, cars adhere to traffic laws that apply to cars. And they're basically trying to figure out, as of now, there's no special rules around regulating electric scooters, and they are allowed to go both ways as a bike would. The Select Board is wondering if that there are ways to kind of throttle down the maximum speed, keep them out of certain areas. They're trying to geofence parking lots, because they were just saying that the parking lots are being inundated with these electric scooters, and it's causing a lot of problems for those parking lots. You are for it?
Yes, I'm against these. I'm also against pedestrians on Commercial Street, except for when I am one. No, but
I often as I'm biking down the street and I'm getting mad at pedestrians, I'm like, is that something I would do? And then sometimes I'm like, yeah.
No,
I won't be mad.
Just all I have to say is this: if you're not going to look both ways when you cross the street, at least look one way.
Yeah.
These people in the
A
street
way.
who are just like as though nothing else is going on, like they're in a shopping mall.
My favorite thing to do while biking, or when I see people acting like complete idiots on Commercial Street and putting themselves and others in danger, I just remind them, you're on a road.
Yeah.
You're on a road.
It's a street.
You will see me saying that at Biking by Dummies often.
You can't win with these people. You ring your bell so that you don't run into their back, and they're like, asshole, why are you ringing your bell at me? So I don't fucking kill you. Are we ranting and raving again?
Apparently. Did we ever stop?
Look both ways.
See, I was speaking to a member of the select board this past week in regards.
Why did you say it like that?
You know, in regards to this, and I was just saying we're spending, and a lot of people are shocked at the sticker price of our brand new police station, and a lot of people bemoan the fact there's not a lot of crime in here. Why are you spending all this money? Obviously, the police station needed to be done, but I think there are ways in which they could be keeping their eye on things to keep people safer. I think they should start ticketing bikers for being on the wrong side of the road. I was biking down Bradford the other day, and someone was biking on the wrong side of the road at me, and I was like, "You can't bike on this side of the road," and he's like, "Oh, no worries." I'm like, but worries, you know?
No worries.
And like people not using their turn signals is like something you would never give out a ticket for because it seems so frivolous, but in a town with this many bikers and pedestrians, it is going to kill someone. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wish the police would refocus on the safety. And I can't tell you how often, not to be a dick, but like I'm biking through like that Lope Square, and they have traffic people, and there's like 2 or 3 of them standing around chit-chatting while there's like bikes and cars all. I'm like, is it not your job to manage this? And it's frustrating.
I think the worst for me is when cars stop to have a conversation with someone.
Oh.
People try to like get somewhere.
Yeah. The people who stop cars for conversations also bother me. I
I
everything
only do
bothers
that
me.
in the wintertime, Ethan.
Good.
Okay, I'll give you the time.
Okay.
Even gives Bob a pass. Perfect.
Yeah. So if you're in your car and you stop to talk to somebody who's outside of your car, Ethan hates you.
Yeah,
And he's right.
exactly.
Okay, I have a couple entertainment news stories. So Ryan Murphy has been on a 5-year contract with Netflix, and he's been producing shows there. We've gotten such incredible shows. I loved The Politician. There was also Dahmer, Halston, The Watcher.
I can't wait to see what he does with this submarine.
I know. I thought James Cameron was going to do it.
Titanic 2.
No, it's just called Titan.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay.
It's going to be him. Is he here? Is his face right here?
Yes, but Ryan Murphy just announced that he is going to be moving over to Disney, which means we're probably going to be getting 100 times more Ryan Murphy projects.
Wow.
Yeah. Things that are in the pipeline to have additional seasons that he created for Netflix will continue to stay on Netflix, as his other projects that stayed on FX, like American Horror Story, things like that. But I mean, I enjoy watching everything Ryan Murphy produces, the good, the bad, the incredible. So
Congratulations,
it was
Ryan. He's a friend of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew.
I know. We'll get this story out of the way real quick. So Elon Musk was tweeting again. So when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he declared himself a free speech absolutist, and in the wake of that, usage of the N-word and other slurs expanded astronomically. I think it was 500%, I read. But now he has declared the word cis and cisgender as slurs. Right. If you don't know what the word cis and cisgender mean, it basically, cis is a Latin prefix that means on the same side of, and is therefore used as an antonym to trans, that kind of removes like normalcy from, because it used to be like, oh, trans and then normal, but as we learn, trans is a normal identity. And so there was a movement to create a new terminology to identify people as cis. And
So what you're saying is Twitter's going to crack down on people who use the word cis and cisgender, but not people who use the N-word or the F-word.
that is kind of what it is seeming like.
Ew.
Yeah.
I wish he had been in that submarine,
Put all the billionaires in that submarine.
but especially Elon Musk.
Yeah. But all the billionaires would be great. All of them.
No.
Everyone. That's all I have. So I sat down with Valerie Isaacs and Laura Shabbat over at the Commons. Thank you so much to the Commons for setting this all up, and also Margaret earlier in the season. Such an incredible job of connecting me and Bob with so many incredible people in town that we recorded. So this is my chat with Valerie Isaacs and Laura Shabbat. Check it out. Everyone, we are here at the Commons with Valerie Isaacs and Laura Shabbat. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So you're both artists here working on the Evercade. How did y'all come to Provincetown? What's keeping you here? What do you love about it?
I came here because there are so many other painters, and I'm still here because there are so many other painters.
I love that.
there's a lot to paint here too. I paint outside, and I got pretty taken with painting out on the pier, and I've been doing that for a few years. I've been here for 5 years. And last year I started painting in the dunes, and I think I'll be doing a lot of that this year.
Yeah, these are really beautiful.
Thank you.
And when did you come to Provincetown?
Oh, I came 30 years ago
I love that.
in 1992, and I came in a car with myself, a man, his boyfriend, and a dog. And we ended up
That's
living,
very P-Town.
It is. And we ended up living at 128 Commercial, which at that time was, I don't know, you could rent a room by the week, and for $125, and mine was the kitchen. And but the oven didn't work, so the oven was like a closet, and and it was just a crazy place. Today, time travel back to here. It is now has a pool. It's owned by one person. It's privately held with a gate, and it's very fancy. But at that time, it was called the Hippie House.
I love that. You should ask them if you could sleep in their kitchen again.
I've had moments where I really just wanted to crawl right back to that spot I used to be in. But at that time, I was in the restaurant business and have been here for a lot of years, and have had the great fortune to do acting and writing and painting now, almost completely painting for 8 years. But that background stays with you, right? And that's one of the beauties of living in Provincetown, is that you can say, it's February and it's gray. I think I'll write a play. Or, you say to yourself, I'm kind of out of money. Maybe I'll write for the banner. And then you write for the banner. So I love that the community allows us all to reinvent ourselves. And that's why I stay. That, and I married a native man who's a fisherman, a former fisherman. And so I have a place to live.
Love that.
It's really nice. And I make art that's from the figure, and I returned through figure drawing at PAM. And I love, now I'm doing collages, so I take all the old drawings and collage them together.
Cool.
And make these wild people. And I work with Berta Walker, and I'm shown there.
Awesome. Yeah. How long have you been painting?
For 30 years, full time.
Has your subject matter changed since being in Provincetown?
Yes, for about a decade I had been doing mostly architectural and street scenes. And when I got here, I was just so intrigued with the boats and the reflections of the boats in the water that I've been doing a lot of that for the last few years.
Where were you living when you were mostly doing street scenes and architecture? Was it kind of a product of your environment?
I was on Plum Island for 5 years before I came here, and that's another beach community. And before that, I was in Cambridge for a long time, and I just liked being near home, so I started painting outside in my neighborhood, and I ended up with sort of a neighborhood business. I did a lot of business out at the grocery store. It was lucky. It was very lucky.
That's really cool.
Well, I have a Valerie story. There I was working at Berta Walker. It was a Sunday afternoon, hot. But Berta Walker's is air conditioned, and so people come in hot. And in walks Valerie, and she's looking around, and then she says that she wants to move here. And it was at that time in history when maybe you could make it, maybe you couldn't, but I said, instead of doing that Debbie Downer kind of thing, I said, absolutely you should move here. And so I just admire you. You really have done it. And you're teaching at PAM, we're both teaching at PAM, we're both teaching at Castle Hill, and that's a way we make a little bit of pin money, is teaching our art.
Oh, how nice it is to be able to work together here. Yes. That was one of the main reasons I like being here. When I'm out in the world the rest of the time, there might be another few painters who I know, or once in a while I'll see another painter on the street. Here, you go to the hardware store and the person in front of you is buying canvas. Right. Or you're riding your bike down the street and you see two other people who are out painting and you think, I really should be out painting.
Since 1916, it's been the largest art colony in the world. Now we're calling it a community as well. Kind of transitioned to community.
Yeah.
But the opportunities here are still there. It's here. The opportunities to make art here, and instead of staying a summer like people used to do, people come for a week.
Yeah.
So we teach folks that have waited all year to come here for that 1 week of painting. And I'm sure as an in plein air painter, that's probably like, because it might rain that week.
Right.
But figure it's easy, right? We're in a closed room, so I don't have to have that weather thing. But it's a privilege to teach here, and people love coming here to make art. Love it.
Is there somewhere we could see both of your art this upcoming summer?
I'm having a show at Hammock Gallery. I show with Hammock Gallery, which is at the bottom of Johnson Street, that little pink building on the
Beautiful,
beach.
yeah.
And I guess the other places aren't firmed up yet. So
Okay, we'll keep everyone posted.
Listen, I'll tell you where you can see Valerie's work. She's on the pier, and it's wonderful. She has this whole setup. And then there she is, and she's on the street. So you're just woman about town.
I'm usually outside somewhere painting.
Yeah, you are.
I might be. I think I'll be painting out on the moors.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
The view of the dunes on the road going between Herring Cove and the Rotary at Bradford Street.
Okay, that's beautiful.
There are so many views there to paint. I have like
You can turn 10
Yeah,
degrees.
10 degrees. There's another painting.
You got a whole summer planned right there.
It's a really great spot. So
And where
except
can
for
we
the
see your work?
coyotes.
Ooh.
I had a coyote incident.
You just got to be home before dusk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the coyote incident.
I had a coyote showed up under my easel in November. I was painting and it snuck up on me. It was completely silent.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden the coyote's right there looking at me.
Oh, geez.
It wanted my paint bag, which did not have food in it, but the coyotes know that bags mean food because people feed them on the beach.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I left. It didn't paint, but it did drag my paint bag all around.
No way! Oh my god. Wow.
But
That's a very P-Town story.
It
it was
is.
a very P-Town experience. Yeah.
And where can we see your work?
I have one piece that's going to be up at the monument for the all summer show
Oh, cool.
called Toolkit. It's on a tool belt. That's all I'm going to say.
I love that.
And then at Berta Walker Gallery, I'll have a show there. And my work's in the rack. Other than that, so
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you.
It was
for
a
having me.
pleasure.
it was a pleasure.
And now, ahead of the premiere of his brand new weekly show at the Crown and Anchor, we have João Santos. Take it away. Woo!
Wake up, wake up. Just kidding. No, I'm not gonna do that. Picture this, it's 9 a.m. You're still kind of asleep, and you have to sing. I'm saying all the things I know you like, making good conversation. I gotta handle you just right, you know what I mean. I took you to a fancy restaurant, then to a suggestive movie. There's nothing left to talk about unless it's horizontally. Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. Your body talk. Let me hear your body talk. Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. Your body talk. Let me hear your body talk. Can you kiss me more? We're so young, boy, we ain't got nothing to lose. It's just principle. Can you hold me? 'Cause I love the way you groove. Oh, 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 boy, you write your name. I can do the same. Oh, I love the taste. La, 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 la. All on my tongue, I want it. Boy, you write your name. I can do the same. Oh, I love the taste. come on. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get physical. Lights out and follow the noise. And baby, keep on dancing like you ain't got a choice. So come on. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get physical. I'm feeling good from my head to my shoe. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. I've tidied up my point of view. I've got a new attitude. Oh yeah. Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. Your body talk. Let me hear your body talk. Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your body talk. Your body talk. Let me hear your body talk. Let's get physical.
Woo!
Thank you. Wait, I need this mic, right?
No, you got one. Come on over.
Hello.
That was so great.
Hello.
Welcome
How are
back.
you?
Thank you. It's been a while.
It's
That
been
was
like 4
fantastic.
months.
It's been like 4 months.
That's a whole season.
You're definitely our most oft guest, so thank you.
Well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you excited for the premiere of your new show?
I am so excited. I think this is my favorite thing I've ever created. And it's very different than anything I've ever done before, so I'm very excited.
So it's called Unholy. What's the concept?
It is a cabaret style show about the 7 deadly sins. And you know, last year we did Insomnia, which was kind of my life story moving to the States as a queer. Most years that I was here, illegal immigrant, and finding love and acceptance and music in Provincetown when I thought I was going to find all of that in New York. No shade to New York, love New York, I want to come back someday. But finding all of that here, so it was a love letter to Provincetown. This is about finding beauty in all things that I thought were wrong or shameful. I was raised very religious, but regardless of being religious or not, we all know the 7 deadly sins. And we know that we're not supposed to touch them, and we do most every day.
I like to touch.
I like to touch. I'm Brazilian, I like to touch. So it's kind of putting a spin on all the sins with the help of some of my favorite singers. So we're doing Madonna, Johnny Cash, SZA, Lizzo.
There were like 6 songs just in that song, right?
I wrote all of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that was actually arranged by this producer that I worked with, Alwenter Giuliano D'Orazio, who there wouldn't be a show without him. But the mashup itself is from the Skivvies.
way.
And I reached out to them and they let me use their mashup for the show. So
that's
very grateful to the
amazing.
Skivvies too.
I'm gonna guess that was Lust.
That was Lust.
Is that your favorite sin?
Gluttony.
I was about to say gluttony.
Peach rings. Is peach rings a sin?
Peach rings?
Peach rings. Joa loves peach rings.
Lust is my favorite sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gluttony is the one that I do the most.
So besides your show, which is every Sunday at 7,
Every Sunday at 7:30
in
at the
the-
cabaret.
in the brand new cabaret room, how are you liking being back in that space?
Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's very Gatsby. I always walk in there and I'm like, Gatsby, what Gatsby?
But besides your show, what else do you have going on this summer?
So we're doing on Tuesday nights, starting this Tuesday, Let Me Be Your Star, an open mic night at the Crown and Anchor
Let
that
me
I'm
be your
hosting.
star.
Uh-huh.
Let Me Be Your Star, for the ones of you that don't know, is one of my favorite songs ever. It's a duet that Harrison Fish promised to sing with me 2 or 3 years ago and has sung with everyone else but me. I'm looking at you, Peter. So that's the name of my open mic night on Tuesday nights that I will be singing with everyone else, except for Harrison Fish. Please come.
It's the same
Please
piano.
come.
It's the same piano player that we had for your show.
Your own.
Yes, João is doing that with me, so we're both going to be hosting it. We're going to have a different co-host every week, and every week we get that person's version of Let Me Be Your Star, because we're going to do that duet every Tuesday.
Are you seriously?
Yeah. So I think we're gonna do 10 of them this season. You're gonna get to hear 10 different versions of that song, none of which are gonna be hairs. Just kidding. But it's really fun. We're gonna have a little QR code that you can scan, sign up to sing. When you scan and send your music, João gets the music on the piano. So it's like whoever wants to come up and sing can.
Is it a competition?
So
It's not a competition.
So it's like open mic / karaoke / piano bar
yeah.
/ something else.
The whole
You're not
goal
invited.
is like to make everyone feel like a star. And João is also a star on the piano and he can play things on the spot. Yeah, everyone but
When are you going to
Harrison.
go sing this song with him?
Whenever I can.
You could probably go on the first Tuesday.
I have rehearsal, I'm sure, that night, but I'll work it out.
It's getting worse.
Wait, what time does it start?
It starts at 9, so it's right after Tina Burner's show.
Yeah, I
great.
could probably do that.
Well, we don't have to.
In addition,
I love you so much.
one more thing Joe's got going on every week over the summer at the Crown and Anchor. I went this past Monday to celebrate Joe's birthday, which was last Friday, but he was out of town. So we celebrated this Wednesday at your brand new pool party.
Yes,
Tell
it's
us about
called Garoto, and it's like it's Brazilian themed, but like Latino and all Latino music, so a lot of samba, bossa nova. We got Julio from the Red End, DJ Julio, to DJ for that party, and because obviously he's Brazilian too, so he knows all the music and all. He knows a lot more Brazilian music than I do because I've been so disconnected from my own culture. But it's just like a chill out of the pool with Brazilian music, good vibes. I have a tanning oil station to make sure nobody goes unoiled. It's part of the Brazilian experience.
Thongs welcome.
Thongs are more than
Right.
welcomed.
Wear
so
your
encouraged.
sluttiest bathing suit. It's a Brazilian pool party.
It's a Brazilian pool party, but it's a good time, and the whole point was to bring a little spice to town and a little visibility and representation. And everyone had just such a good time. I was so happy. So that's every Wednesday. Please come join us.
Well, thanks so much for coming in, João.
I'm already leaving.
Already. Yeah.
I had so much more to say, but next time in 4 months.
So she is fresh off the premiere of her weekly show over at the Crown and Anchor. This is Anne Hutchinson giving you the weather.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Anne Hutchinson, your weather correspondent. And last night, my conventicles opened. And, you know, thanks to none of you for coming. I mean, I give you all this free weather. The least you could do is buy the cheapest ticket at the Crown and Anchor. But it went well, and so I let loose after the show, and I've ended up in Truro, as you can tell. And since I'm in Truro this morning, I couldn't possibly give you the weather for Provincetown. That would be, you know, tacky of me to give you the weather of Truro. But I'm out here, and I'm just barefaced wandering around. And by that I mean I look like a literal bear that ate all the berries in the berry bush and then was cast out of the den. And that may or may not describe the sexual fantasies of the fan that did come to my show last night that I spent the night with in Truro. But anyways, by the way, the sign is wrong. It's hard for me to turn off the history button sometimes. Provincetown was not established in 1686, but because the sign is wrong, that clearly shows that the infrastructure is absolutely crumbling out here in Truro. So hopefully I make it back safely and I can give you the weather next week. My fancy camera person will be back. I have a big announcement for you all, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Anne, and congratulations on the opening of your brand new show. See it every Thursday at the Crown and Anchor. Please welcome Sam Hamashima and Nate Kozin to the Wake Up set.
Hello, good morning. Before we talk about your show, you have a theory on what happened to the submarine.
I do. Okay. The whales. We have not seen that collision yet between the submarine and the whale theory. So I think the orca whales decided it was time, and this was their moment, you know, and they went bam, bam, bam into the ocean.
They're sinking yachts, and they heard they were billionaires on that submersible, and they went for it.
Yeah, and as a land ally, I can only love that. Yeah.
They're having their moment,
Yeah.
the orcas.
The orcas are having the moment,
Team
and
orca.
it's really amazing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about your show.
Okay.
You're over at the Provincetown Theater doing your one-person show.
Yes.
Banana.
Yes, we are doing a one-person show, Banana, that Nate is directing. And it's like 55 minutes of a roller coaster. It's a banana, and then you start to just peel the layers back and, see what's underneath. But you're gonna have to pay for that. yeah, it's a show about identity, and it's about sort of making an identity something you can hold, right? And what does that mean to you? Is it something you're afraid of? Is it something you want? You know, the banana is a large metaphor for several things, but it originally started as sort of this racial slur for Asians who have been fully assimilated into America. So you're yellow on the outside and white on the inside.
I have never heard this.
Well, here you go. The more you know. And so I start from there, and we kind of expand into what that means for people of all races and nationalities through sort of this roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Yeah, where are you from? No, I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
But
I'm from Delaware.
Oh, hi, Delaware. Smallest state.
Second smallest.
First on the quarter.
Size doesn't matter with me, so that's fine. No, I'm from North Carolina, and my family is originally from Japan. Nihon.
Great.
Nate, how did you get involved in the project? Have you been there since the beginning, or?
No, I was brought on. I directed one of Sam's pieces in New York at the Eagle as part of National Queer Theater's short play festival.
Oh, cool.
And we were talking about this piece that they were creating, and they asked me to come direct it here in P-Town. And it was a very exciting but scary ask. One-person shows are very unique in that there's one person that you're directing. There's a very minimal set. It's a quick turnaround. But it was a fun and amazing challenge. I have a personal investment in the show. I think it's a very, I want to say universal, but a lot of Asians in America probably feel that conflict of identity of where they come from and their heritage, and then the country that they're in. And so as a Filipino American, there's a lot of conversation starters and things that Sam was talking about that I felt that I could relate to, even though our experiences are so different. And I think that's something that any person coming to see the show could relate to and connect to.
Yeah.
How long are you here?
I am here until tomorrow.
That's it?
I know.
Stay longer, move here.
Work, honey, let's think about it. Because this New York rent is not it.
Oh, it's not less here.
Okay, but it's comparable?
Yeah.
Okay, great. There's a beach.
Yeah.
And you're at the beach.
Oysters.
And it only smells like piss sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better than all the time.
Right, exactly.
Leave them and be one of us. Come here.
Okay. I'm thinking about
I heard it was, Nate, your first time in
This is my first
Provincetown.
time in P-Town.
How are you?
loving
How is it receiving you?
Oh, well, honey. I am receiving P-Town well.
Good. We love to hear it.
I'm losing it. It's amazing.
You're gonna be back.
Oh, 100%. I want to come back later this summer.
We want to come see the Fantastic
Yeah, you gotta come.
at Provincetown
Yeah.
Theater.
Yeah, I wouldn't. We had rehearsals this week, and I walked into the space, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
Oh my God, yeah.
The set is fun.
The set is fun. If you want to see a butt, this is your chance to see a butt.
It's called Banana, but peaches are shown.
Your one chance in P-Town to see a butt.
Only once.
Yeah.
And can I just do one thing really fast?
Absolutely.
I want gay people, wake up. Wake up, Provincetown, wake up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wake up. I really wanted to do that this whole time.
So what time is your show tonight at the Provincetown Theater?
7 o'clock.
Get your tickets now. Super exciting.
I'll be barking in the streets today.
Yes.
So wake up, and all of you will come and see me at commercial, and we'll go get the next submarine.
Work.
Thank you so much for being here. Break a leg
Thank
tonight.
you.
Kill the people. I love you. I wish I could
Kill
go to
the
this.
people.
Yeah. Kill the people.
Wake up!
I checked out the Portuguese bakery. Check it out now. Good morning, everyone. We are here right in the center of town on Commercial Street at the Portuguese bakery. We are here with Chuck and George. They just began their third season of ownership here at the Portuguese bakery. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it.
Of course. I've been in a few times. We've got some incredibly delicious offerings here, so thank you so much for keeping all that going. What brought y'all to town? What brought y'all to Provincetown, the Cape?
We summered here, as I did as a kid, for vacations and fell in love with it. And then George and I were able to move here on the Cape. And then so we fell in love with it. We loved P-Town, obviously, being a couple, and we just gravitated. And then we got so lucky when we were looking for a business anyway, and found the bakery for sale.
So where'd y'all move from?
We were in Florida at the time.
Nice.
We had another bakery for 12 years.
Oh, awesome.
And sold it several years back. Really missed the business, so we were in process of looking for another one, and this came on the market. It's like coming home. It's great.
And you got out of Florida just in time.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have a history of being a baker?
Yes.
George? Nice. Is what you worked with before more French style bakery, and now you're over in Portuguese, or?
More or less.
Yeah.
I'm home taught, so it was growing up in the South. It was cakes and pastries and the like, and some French, some Italian, whatever we swing felt for the day. But yeah, coming into the Portuguese is definitely a change, but it's a good one.
What are some of the more popular desserts you sell here at the bakery?
Oh, the biggest by far is the malasada, the Portuguese fried dough. It's awesome. It's great. Have it in the front window, and it's great.
Yeah, it's hard to walk by. You smell it, and you got to get one.
Yeah, it's a spectacle. Draws people. People came here and got one when they were a kid, and now they bring their grandkids, and they all want the same.
Nice. Is there anything that you find really challenging to make? Any specific thing that's just tough to get your head around?
Not particularly. A lot of the Portuguese fry. Being a baker, yeah.
You're like, oh, that's
being a baker. That was a transition to in the middle of baking bread. Portuguese sweetbreads, an awesome tradition. You have to stop and fry the French toast and fry the malasada. Fry the bolas de Belém is the Portuguese donut. It's really good as well. There are a lot of fried things.
That sounds so delicious.
I'm not used to.
Yeah. So like I said, you're just beginning your third season of ownership here. How long has this been a Portuguese bakery?
Since 1936.
So you're only the fourth owners of the bakery here? Nice. And are any of the families still in town? I know it's probably a family business to begin with.
The grandchildren of the original owner are still in town.
Well, thank you guys so much for sitting down with me today. We're going to show you a little bit of what they've got going on in the back, and thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was so much. Stop by and grab a breakfast sandwich. They're now open for breakfast sandwich. Please welcome to the set, Jeff, also known as Varlajine Merman.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. It's early.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So you opened your brand new show last week. How's it going?
It was really good. You know, Friday, I had to just remember the words. And then Saturday, it was really good. So I'm really happy. But I had tried out, you know, I live in Florida now, and because Louisiana wasn't messed up enough for me. And just the drag bands, I thought was going to be a one-off. So I put a little special show together for Palm Springs, and I wrote, you know, like 4 or 5 numbers, and I thought I would just do that there. But then, you know, it just got worse and worse, and I just don't think it's going away anytime soon. So, you know, my show originally that I was going to do was going to be about survival after my accident, you know, in the business 30 years, trying to live in a world with Drag Race. You know, I kind of got grandfathered in before it, thank God. And I was going to call it Varlajine Merman's Survival Tic Tactics. Oh my God. It didn't make the cut. But then the drag ban started to happen, and it freaked me out because it is my livelihood. And I know people think it's in other states, but you know, if I can remind you, Florida voted for Obama 2 times in a row, you know, and see how much has changed even since that has happened. And what really drove me out of my mind is that in Wilton Manors, they have, it's called Stonewall Pride. They call it Stonewall Pride. And no drag queens were allowed to perform at Stonewall Pride, which is just, you know, it's like having Veterans Day and saying no veterans allowed. I mean, it's just such a bizarre, and you know, I film my videos outside every year. I mean, you know, I filmed many here in Provincetown, and I couldn't film them outside in Florida this year because you can be arrested for being in drag.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, I know. And meanwhile, Nazis can hang out in front of Disney World, and they're protected by the First Amendment. But if a drag queen is outside and a child sees them and a parent complains, one parent, then the drag queen can be arrested. Now try to make all that funny.
Right. If anyone can do it, I know that it's you.
Right.
It is funny, and I love the show, and it's just, you know, there's one thing in the show that it doesn't often go together, but gay and patriotism. We don't really think of those things together, but they depend on each other, and so that's a big theme of my show.
Man.
Yeah. And it's light, I promise.
Let's talk a little about what happened last year. You
Yeah.
hurt yourself during a show.
I don't know if you guys can see this
It's
scar.
my scar. It's not my biggest, but I have one. In my show last year, it was about anxiety, and so I had a bottle of Ativan, which was Tic Tacs in the bottle, and I had a big giant martini glass, and I'd be freaking out I got freaked out about a plastic bag left on stage, and so I took the Ativan and I poured them into the Ativan Tic Tacs, poured them into the martini glass, and then I take a straw and I mash them and like drink the whole thing. Well, it was funnier when instead of going like this, I'd go, pooh, you know, and just they'd fly everywhere. And so I'd come back on stage. I mean, I did it, you know, 70 times without an incident. I'd come up on stage and sometimes I'd be like, wow, that's weird. You know, I was just a little roll. But that night, there were a few, and I was turning at the same time, and my knee just clicked the wrong way.
Oh.
And so I'm sitting on stage, and people are still laughing because they thought, you know, they thought it was part of the show. And then I look down, and my kneecap is down here, sticking up out of my pantyhose, like down here. And my muscles are up here.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Oh my God. Wow.
And
Hilarious.
I have to tell you, I never lost character. And thank God there was this big, hot, straight guy that I know who works at Monkey Bar, Chad, picked me up, and I was like, get me out of drag. I'm not going to Hyannis in drag. They don't have drag in Hyannis.
Cut it all off. Just cut it all off.
I know, and so I got out of it, and then, you know, of course, you know, they gave me morphine because it's a long ride to Hyannis when your kneecap is at your ankle, and you know, there was a surgeon there the next day. I'm so lucky. A dear colleague of mine, Larry Edwards, you know, he does Tina Turner, very famous. He had the same accident. And the same exact knee, because I think it's something when a drag queen is in the air and falls on her toe, you know, you can't do squats on your toes, and because it pops the muscle. Same thing, but he had to wait a month to get his surgery because of workman's comp, because it was in a casino.
Oh
and
my God.
that would have driven me out of my seeing the muscles just heal like a big mass. So I'm so lucky there was a great surgeon at Cape Cod Hospital, and it's been, you know, it was a lot of work, but it's definitely back. I do some dance moves in the show.
It seemed like you were back performing so quick. I'm sure it didn't quite feel like that, but the recovery was manageable.
You know, well, first of all, when I was in Cape Cod Hospital that night, and I was like, you know, looking at the bustling skyline of Hyannis, I said, oh my God, I have to quit the show. I have to be done. And then Ryan Landry texted me one word, wheelchair. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, what else am I gonna do? Just sit in the hospital, like sit at home, you know, in a cast? And so I did. I started the show, I think 5 days later, and did it the last week in a wheelchair. We did costume changes. I didn't feel a thing. I don't even remember it. But you know, and then I just did rehab. If you have any kind of surgery, you have to do the rehab, and I did it a lot. So
that's great.
And then I did the show in a leg brace for a little while in November, but then in February I started just doing it without.
The show must go on.
I know, right? Yeah, so we make sure now the stage is very clear, and we do not use Tic Tacs in the show.
In the promo image that we used, you have your dog in the picture.
Yes, my baby, Jasper.
How long have you had Jasper? How did you train him so well to be such a show dog, or does it just run in the family?
You know, he grew up on stage. I started bringing him out on stage when he was, you know, just, you know, not even a year old, and then he just got used to it, and then he is so good at doing tricks. Like he started doing these things where he just started opening doors. Like he can open the front door and go outside, so we have to lock the door. He's just very smart.
Yeah.
And so this year I do I Will Survive, a video, and Jasper acts it out, go on note, walk out the door, turn around now, he plays dead, he comes in an alien outfit. He's really cute. He's really cute. And now I get to bring him to work, and he's a tax write-off.
We love that. We love a tax write-off.
So the show is Tuesday through Saturday?
Tuesday through Saturday, 9 o'clock. I'm there. It's my 26th year in Provincetown.
I'll be there tonight.
Yeah,
Come see it with me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming in.
Oh,
Thanks
thank you
for
so
always
much.
coming
Thank you
in.
for having me. And I promise I'm not going to slip on anything else.
We love that. Thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you to all our sponsors, the Provincetown Brewing Company, the Crown and Anchor, Provincetown Business Guild, the Boat Slip, Shipwreck at the Brass Key. Yeah.
I think that's our show. Thanks for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
We'll see you next Friday.
Yeah.
No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.